Welcome to this webinar by BA Sphere. We hope you enjoy it. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here, and I'm really excited to share more about prototyping in Figma. I have a couple of slides, ready, but I would also be doing a bit of practical. So I'll be, just showing what I'm saying. So I'll be in between my slides and Figma to itself. So if you have any questions at all, please let me know in the chat, in the comment, or just let me know. But it's really great to be here once again. And like Tosin has rightly mentioned, my name is Temi. A business analyst. A quick background: I've done a lot more with like products. So I've worked with SaaS companies, and I've been able to see how products are shaped from requirements, the building phase, and deploying it to the market. I also have a bit of experience with UX design, so I did a couple of courses, and so I understand that business analysts, we aside from writing the requirements, it is great for us to be able to show our stakeholders the visuals of what we're working on. So I'll go ahead now and start with my slide. If you have any questions at all, please let me know, and you can drop a comment in the chat. Thank you. All right, so I'm really excited once again to be here, and we'll be talking about what prototyping is, different tools for prototyping, why it is really important to prototype as a business analyst, and I'm just very excited to show you what you can do, how you can bring ideas to life with prototyping. A little about me. I know Tosin have read that already. So first thing is, what exactly is prototyping?
And you can see
you can't see my screen yet?
No, I can see it. Can anyone else see the slides?
Actually, we can see it.
Yes, I can see it.
Yes, I can see it. Yes,
okay, I can see it now. Thank you.
All right. So I would like to, ask questions briefly. If you have any, you can just unmute your mic to talk. So before now, what do you think prototyping is? Just one person, you can also, if you're unable to speak, you can drop it in the chat. But what do you think prototyping is, and why do you think that is really important? Do we have volunteers?
Yeah, well, I think prototyping is trying to bring the visualization of the features that you want to implement not to life, but to show, how it's going to look like when it's implemented.
All right.
So,
thank you.
Yeah, that's all I know.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. So, like you said, prototyping is just a process of creating a visual, interactive presentation of a product or a feature before it is being built. And this will help you to explore your ideas quickly. It will help you validate your concept. It will also help you communicate the visual or the functionality visually. Because our work as a business analyst, we need to be able to engage our stakeholders. It's not enough for us to just say, oh, this is how the website is going to be. You've written all the requirements. As a user, I want to do this, the acceptance criteria, everything is being done. But, it will be great. And if you, in a cross-functional team where we have like the business analysts, the designers, the developers, it will be great for the designer that would actually make it all beautiful and aesthetically pleasing. It will be great for him to be able to understand the framework and structure and this would reduce rework, because most of the challenges that we face as business analysts is just aligning all the stakeholders and making sure that we are collaborating effectively. So this prototype would allow you to be able to gather feedback without even getting the devs to be able to write code. So it helps you validate your concept really quickly. So just think about it like a test run for your product, to see if it works, if it makes sense, and if it would meet the user's need. So why is prototyping important? It would reduce miscommunication. Stakeholders can see what you're building. They can spot issues early, and this would save time and money. Like I've said earlier, rework, it will align the teams, and it will speed up iterations. Before we go into what I have next, I want to talk about different prototyping tools. And I know that most of us, I've come across it before, might have even used it before. But starting out with Balsamic, you can use Balsamic to create prototype. This is Balsamic here. And you come on here, do your prototype, your wireframe, such a way that you can get faster product decision. You can spot errors on time. I personally don't have a preference for Balsamic, no hard feelings. Maybe because I have having my background in UX design and user experience, I find it a bit more easier to use Figma because I'm used to using Figma. And I just discovered a new tool that I'll be sharing during the course of the presentation. So you can use Balsamic, you can use Figma. Then there's a new one I found out. It's an AI tool called Visily. So I've been using Visily a lot more these days because you can actually use that to, from screenshots. You can even, from a sketch, you can create your wireframes for you just by taking a picture of your sketch. We'll delve more on Visily later in the class, but these are just the different prototyping tools that BAs can use. So the next step would then be, how exactly do you start this process of prototyping? What exactly do I need? So I understand some people might not even have any design background or might just be the BA. Like, I understand the requirement, I can do the documentation, but how do you get started? What would be the ideal process? I usually start out with understanding the requirements first. So before I get started on any prototype or wireframes, whatever, I try to understand the requirements first. Then secondly, in UX, that's user experience design, before we even do anything, before designers go ahead to do anything, they do research as well too, right? So after understanding your requirements, it is not a shame for you to have mood board. So I would go ahead to show you one example here. So this is for a pet project. It's just something that I really liked, and I had time. So just creating a wireframe to just enhance my skill or just rejig the skills, right? So I created this, and you'll see that I have a mood board. Before I even go to Figma, before I even go ahead, this is just to understand. I understand the requirements. Say for instance, I'm trying to build a wireframe for an e-commerce website. There's tons of e-commerce website out there, right? I understand what this e-commerce website wants to do. Probably the differentiating feature of the e-commerce website could be that probably I want to be able to stockpile, right? So I go ahead, go to Dribble, Behance. Those are like the two platforms that I use. I just go ahead to just search e-commerce websites, designs, and you can see here that I have like two different, even three different ones. I'm not doing this to be able to copy it word for word for my wireframes. No, I'm doing this to be able to get inspiration and also be able to make it better. So making it better more than what is out there, and this would help me to be able to. This would then lead me to the next step of sketching. So before now, before I go ahead to do anything, when I just started the process, my pen and my jotter or my notes or my journal, whatever, I use that a lot. So you have to be able to first understand the layout before you even start anything on your screen, anything at all. Get a pen, get a paper, and sketch these things out. Okay, these are I want the home page to look like. These are I want the pricing page to look like. These are I want the checkout page to look like, right? You are doing this to be able to give it a frame. It's just like our body. Without our skeleton, we won't be able to stand, we won't be able to do a lot of things. We're just going to be there, right? So think about it like you're giving it a structure, right? And jotting it down, putting the frameworks, the drawings, and everything. I would have showed you some of my sketches, but I don't have it here on my laptop. Usually on my phone. So that's just to show you that you have to be able to create a structure. This would also save you time in creating a wireframe or creating your prototype, because you already have like a framework. So all you're just doing is putting that thing on your notes visually, so people can see on your screen. So, and before I move to the next part, do we have any questions at all?
Yes, can I ask what's the difference between prototyping and wireframe?
Yes, so would get there in a bit. I know this question is going to come up, so
Okay.
we'll get there in a bit. Yeah, thank you. I've noted that question down anyway, so we'll get there. I need a moment. All right. So, what is the importance of prototyping in Figma? We've talked about this. Think through the user journey, improve your collaboration, reduce rework, and have a clearer communication. So, there are actually different types of prototypes. We have the low fidelity prototype, we have the mid fidelity prototype, we have the high fidelity prototype. So, and back to the question about the differences between different prototype. Think about prototype like think about it like a general group, like the general name. So then wireframes are like the sub under it. So we understand that prototyping is just showing what the visual, representing the structure visually so that you are aligned with your stakeholders and everything. But the wireframe is the skeletal structure. It's just the name. I don't know if I'm explaining that quite well, but we have low fidelity, we have mid fidelity, and we have the high fidelity. When I get to the next slide, where you get to see the difference and what differences between the low fidelity, the mid fidelity, and the high fidelity prototype. So this is the low fidelity prototype. This is just your basic wireframe. You can see here that this looks hand drawn, like as if you have your iPad, then your pen, you just put this one out. The logo is going to be here. Let me bring it out. Logo is going to be here. Logo is going to be here. Oh my god, let me go back. The logo is going to be here. Then we have, this is going to be a search bar. Then we have the categories, right? You will notice that this one there's very, very little details. Very, very little details. This is just like somebody and drawing something, right? So the detail, excuse me, is very, very little. And you can use this, probably in that stage where you're trying to get your structure and everything. So this mid fidelity, it is also very structured. You can see there is a difference between the low fidelity here and the mid fidelity. There is more structure here, but very useful. They are useful components. So you will see that the button is not looking like this. The buttons, the images, everything is clear. You can see the search bar. There is, it's just very structured compared to the low fidelity prototype. And we have the high fidelity prototype. So you see the fully developed screens for developers. This is great for handoff. For developers, designers, is very, very great for that. So the difference is just that the low fidelity prototype, there is minimal details. Is someone saying anything? I got a chat now. I'm trying to check the room. Yeah. So I think I think it's best I take questions so I'm not distracted. I think that would be great. So if you have your questions, probably just drop it in the chat, then I'm going to take it one after the other. Is that okay? So that's the differences between the different prototypes. And we move on to the next slide. We're going to have like a practical section here where I'm going to demonstrate how I do my process of prototyping, creating wireframes, and all of that. So how can we leverage Figma for prototyping for business analysts? You utilize the frames rather. You create components, then you implement the styles, and you can use comments. So let me go to Figma right now. This will be great if I show it. So if you don't have an account with Figma, kindly create an account with Figma. And when you do that, you'll be able to access this. There is also the paid plan, but I don't think that's really necessary for now. You can use the free plan. I'm currently on the free plan, and would get started with that. So when you are on the dashboard, just navigate to this create. You will see design file. Click on the design file here. All right, so I will do a walkthrough about how to use Figma. So also back to the question of prototyping in Figma, when you create a design, if you want to show your flow, you'll be able to come here, and that's where you're able to you'll be able to prototype it. So the design, let's start with let me start with creating a frame. So based on the presentation I have here, I was talking about utilizing frames. So when you want to use Figma, what's that here? There are different elements here, right? This side panel here is just for you to be able to organize your work, and you have different layers, you have different components. This mouse icon is just for you to be able to scroll around the Figma interface, right? Then the frame is just like the different types of when you click on the frame, you see different types of devices. So if you are creating a wireframe for your phone, you can choose from different phone, but the standard that people use is 16 Pro, or you can use 16 Pro Max, anything you want to use actually. But if you're
sorry, tell me, I just opened. Sorry to take you back, but I just opened the Figma. How do you get to this this page, please?
Is in front.
Right, no worries, I can go back. You can see where it's going, right?
Yes, but I
Can
mean,
you
like,
come?
I just opened the Figma. I just want to know how you get to this page. Sorry.
No worries at all. So you come here. This is the file I just opened now. So you come here, you come to this create button, right? Then you click on this design file. Can you see that? You can see that, right? So when you click on yes, then it brings to that things we saw just now. It brings you to the, let's say, the playground we just saw now. So I'm going to go back now and click on this because that's what I just opened.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was talking about the different, no worries, you got it. I was talking about the different tools in Figma and how to use it. So we have the mouse icon here. This is just for you to be able to scroll around. Maybe you want to move anything, maybe just do anything with the mouse icon. This frame, you see that we have a very blank screen here, the blank canvas. There's nothing there yet. The frame is what you need. It is very important that every of your design, every of your elements is inside a frame. And I'll share that again during our prototyping section, right? So let's click on this frame. If I want to do for a phone, let me pick iPhone 16. You see, let's go here. Yeah, you can see iPhone 16 here, right? Got it. So the next thing, let's also click for desktop, because most of the screens we use these days, just phone, then laptop, then maybe your watch. Even if you want to do for watch, I think there is one frame here as well too for watch. So you can see tablets, you can see presentation, you can see watch. So if you want to do a design for maybe an Apple Watch, there are different things here, so you can just explore this. But for the purpose of this presentation, we're just going to focus on desktop and iPhone, right, phone version. So that is how you get your frames, how you get your design done, your wireframe rather. So after that, you would come here. There is this rectangle. If you click on this, you see that it's a shape tool actually. There is rectangle, there's line, there's the arrow, there's the ellipse. Everything is just circle. There is a polygon, there is star. Then there's where you can add your image, right? If you want to, you can add an image here as well too. And we also have where you get to text. This tool, I seldomly use it. I don't even use it at all. So I seldomly use it. I don't think you really need it for this, for the purpose of wireframing, right? So I would go back to text, and this is where you get to drop your text. If I want to say hello everyone, the text is quite small right now because my screen is very small. I'm going to just zoom it in. You can see hello everyone. Click on hello everyone, and we see you can come here. When you click on your text, you see different things here. So let me go over them. In this text, you can see your position. This is just to align. You see this area, you align to the left. You come here, align to the center. This is our text. Let me bring it up so that we can all see very well. You align this to your center, this to the right. You align, if I click on this, it's aligned to the right. I'm going to bring it back to the center. Then you can take it down. Yeah, take it up. Just different alignments, positions, anything you want to do here, right? So let's take it back here. Align vertical, horizontal. It's still back to the middle right now. So if you notice, while I was doing these different alignments, the position would this position is just like, let's see, it's just showing you the different position where this text is. It is a bit, if the developers are picking it up, it will be very helpful to them. But for you, or for like business analysts, I just want to keep it like to the very basic, like what you just need to do here. You don't really need to concern yourself with the positioning. That would be very helpful for like designers, because this is not the actual design. This is just like a structure you want to give to the designer, right? And I'm going to move on to your appearance. If you want to put it, add opacity. If this is a text, let's come here to rectangle. If I want to create a button now, I come to rectangle, and I can decide to change the color. But for wireframes, it is very important that you stick to basic color like gray, white, black, because this is not like the real thing, right? Except, of course, you want to create like a mid fidelity one or like a high fidelity one. You can use different colors. I like to play a lot with colors. So in some of the projects that I've done that I'll show you now, you might see some buttons that, in different colors. So, but try to keep it very minimal, white, gray, black. Those are like some of the colors you can get to use. So let's go back to text. I think that was what I was saying. Text, right? In this typography area here, you can change the different kind of fonts you want to. So if I want to use this one, you can see that as I hover on it, it is changing. So if the brand has like a font they're using, you can use that, you can stick to that, that's okay. And you can come here to increase the size. So as I hover on it, you can see that it is the size of the text is increasing. And one interesting thing is that for some fonts, if you want to, you wouldn't see like the normal format we see, bolding, italize. What other things that do we see on like the normal Word document or Google Docs? This is where you get to do all of that. You can see here regular. If I want to bolden it, if I want to italize it, this is where you get to do all of that. That's how the Figma interface, really looks like. And this is also for alignment, and you can come here to this field to change the color, right? So if I want to change it to, what color should we use? Let's use red, right? I can come here to change the color. Stroke just means that let's say let me show you an example of what stroke is here with this rectangle. That will be very useful. So stroke is talking about the outer section of whatever elements you're using. And for stroke, let me use white. You will notice that the outer, if we zoom in now, but let me increase the size, the weight of the stroke, you will notice that the outer where's my rectangle? Okay, I think I clicked on fill. Can't find it. Okay, this is inside. Yeah, outside. Let's increase it. Let me use another color so it's visible. I hope. So this is what your stroke would do, right? This size it's looking this big because of the size. So if I bring it back here, you can see that you've reduced it drastically, right? That's really what the stroke is. Then your fill is talking about what is inside. So think about your fill like this color in. Think about your stroke as the element outside. And you would get to use this a lot for buttons, for different things. But I use it mostly for like buttons. You can use it for different shapes as well too, right? And in this effect area, we'll see different ones: drop shadow, let me zoom in so that you can see this effect really well. Zoom in. There are different effects actually. Let's click on layer blur. So these are just different effects that you can utilize. But for wireframes, remember it is something very basic. You don't need to, stress yourself too much about all the deep details and specifics. You will leave that for the designer and the dev to figure out, except of course probably on the project, which I don't think is right. Maybe they don't have a designer and they just want to from the BA straight to the developer, right? So that's when you can concern yourself with the specific details. But for the purpose of this presentation, we are doing a wireframe, so we keep it simple and we keep it basic. So another very important functionality you need to know is the comment section. Once you've created your wireframes or whatever prototype you want to create, you should be able to collaborate with people. You don't need to say, oh, I want to send a screenshot or I want to do a video so you can understand. All the person just needs to do is to comment on this. So if I want to give feedback to anyone that worked on it, I can just say, I can tag the person and say, hey, check this out. I want this color to be this. I want it to be black instead of white. So the comments feature is something very useful that you would also find very helpful when you're collaborating with designers. So for instance, you've created the wireframe, then the designer created the designs, it's looking good, but you have some minor tweaks. Instead of going in, some designer might not even give you the edit access. Most of them don't give you the edit access. So instead of just going in and doing anything, all you just need to do is to pick on your comment icon, then drop it. So if I want to drop it here, I want to comment on this hello everyone, right? I'm going to drop it here, then add my comments. I can also tag. If I want to tag anyone, I just need to use the @. You will see the different people that I've collaborated with in the past anyway. So this is something that you would find very useful and very helpful. So that's the features, the basic features that you need to know about Figma, prototyping in Figma. So let us create something right now. Let us do that. Does anyone have idea? What would you like us to create? I do have something I have in mind to get done with. Is there something you like to see for the desktop or the mobile? If not, we can go ahead. So before then, there are things you also need to know in prototyping, in creating your wireframes or whatnot. For every frame you work with, for like desktop now, there is a specified layout grid. In UX design, there are different rules for UX, and it's also very applicable if you're trying to create a wireframe. It's not just about how you structure it. It's not just about how you put your buttons or how you put your text or how you arrange everything. You should be able to arrange it in a structure that aligns with what will be very useful for the devs or the designer to pick up. So I'm going to show you something real quick, and we're going to see how that looks. So when I click on my desktop, you can check it out. It's very useful I use layout grid a lot when I'm designing, and this just allows my designs to be well structured and neat. So this is an example of layout grids that I've used in the past. This layout grid is just for me to keep my things in a structured format. So you will notice that all the elements I'm adding is not past the line, except for like this one, because there's an interaction that is going to be here and we need it full screen, right? But in this the layout grid is just to put you in a box so that your design is neat and well organized and structured. I utilize it a lot, and it's something that will be very helpful if you can also add that. This is for another project. Layout grid is very, very extremely important. So I'm going to show you how to add your grid, and it's important because it helps you to structure your designs and make it look more cleaner rather than just having your elements in different places. So you come here, let me go back. You click on your frame. When you click on your frame, you'd see the layout grid here, right? So I'm going to click on layout grid, and I'm going to choose 12. I'm going to click on the column and choose 12. Again, this is just to keep your elements organized. So let me reduce this. It's going to be very distracting for you to be seeing that. So I'm going to reduce the right. So right now I can do whatever I want to do. I know that I'm not going to get past this line, and I'm not going to get past this line as well too, right? That's just the essence of this layout grid, just to keep your design or your wireframe organized, right? So also for iPhones or for like phones, it's not just iPhone, it could be Android. The standard is 8. You can use 4 to 8 columns. So this is also just to make sure that your design is clean and organized. But for the purpose of this presentation, I'm going to focus on the desktop, and we're going to go from there. So let's say I want to create a website for an e-commerce, and I've gotten the requirements. We talked about the process, getting your requirements, structuring it, writing it out to get the structure. Now it's time for me to put it on Figma so that people can see, right? So I've done my research, and from my research I love this this structure. The e-commerce websites, let's say it's even for a fashion brand, right? So they sell different things. They sell bags, they sell shoes, they sell jewelries and things like that. I've gotten my mood board. So what is the first thing? The first and most important thing when you start creating your wireframes? I'm not going to focus on the low fidelity wireframes now, low fidelity prototype now. I'm going to focus on the mid fidelity for today, right? So I'm going to get started with my menu. So I'll start by coming to this rectangle here and just have it here. So you know that when we go to different websites, we usually see different things. Oh, this is how the menu is going to look like. This is how the what content will you need to add to this menu, right? So you can add your logo, you can add your text. So if it's for the e-commerce website, we can add shop page, you can add cart, you can even add search, right? So let me also go through this while I'm doing the demonstration so that you can see, and at least by the end of this session, you'd be able to use Figma well. So I have one here for the menu. Let's just add a text now. Let's see, what would you like to see on your menu? Do anyone have any ideas? What would you like to see on your menu? We can just pick something random just for us to be able to fill the menu. What would you like to add on your menu for
the search button?
all right, thank you. Search button. So I'm going to add that in a bit. Also, there are different standards to design, so that your design if I show you what my wireframe used to look like when I started out, it was very, very it was very funny. If you check it out now, I didn't understand the principle of text. That's very important in anything design. I didn't understand the principle of text, sizing of text. In design or in development, there's the H1, H2, H3. If I am doing like a full-blown thing, we should have the H1 tags. This is the size. It's going to be 18 pixels. If it is, let's say H1, let's say 30 pixels, H2, 25 pixels, like that. And that's what you're going to use in the course of your design. So if any designer send you Figma, you would see that they call it the, what's the name again now? I've forgotten the name now, but that's what they use, design system. That's what they use to get their designs done. The layer, the text, the sizing, and the colors, and all of that. So I'm going to use home. Then also, it is very important for you to be able to align your text. So we are just going to give this spacing. What else do I want to see? Let's see collections. Collections here. What other thing do I want to see? Let's see wish lists. You know, we always have that in some websites. Let's say wish lists. Wish lists. Yeah. Then somebody talked about the search icon. So there's something called icon. So there's something called plugin in Figma as well too. So plugin is like let's when you click on when you right click, let's right click. You are able to see different options when you right click. Then the copy, the paste, your bring to front, bring to back, cover section, grouping it, framing it, different things. But I'm going to plugins. You can go to, when you want to manage plugin, if you don't, but like for someone that is just starting to use Figma, you've not experienced anything with Figma, there is a community section where you get to download your plugins. But these are the plugins that I've used in the past. I can go and you'll see, if I click on saved plugins, you see the different kind of plugins. You see Artboard Mockup, Autoflow, Lorem Ipsum, Iconify. So Iconify is where I get to use any icon that I want to use. I just go there and search for it. So let's go to Iconify. It's going to load up now, and we would search for what we want to use. So we set the search bar. So click on search icons here. I'm just going to type in search. Can you see the different things it brought up? So another thing in design that you might want to consider again here is that when you are using like this, you will notice that the how will I put it? the heaviness of the weight, or the heaviness of the icon is a bit different. You see that this one is less heavy and all of that. Just make sure that whatever icon you're using, it is consistent across board. So if I'm going to use this type of search bar now, if I want to search for another thing like say notification, let me click on that search bar. Right, let me click on search bar. It's going to import it right now. You can see that, right? And let's go to notification. Let's click on notification. You would see different options for notification as well. Different ones. So this is what I was saying. You will see that in the previous one for the search bar, we saw something that is less heavy like this. Right now, because of the kind of search icon I'm using, I would pick something related, something that is not less heavy. So I'll use something like this, so that there is a level of consistency in your design or your wireframe or whatever you're doing, right? There is a level of consistency there. So because we want to do a search bar, we want to add a search bar to this right now. We're not just going to leave it here as search. What do we need to do? Do anyone have any ideas? So if you go to a website and you want to search, what, aside from this icon, what other things do you think we need to add there? Do anyone have any ideas?
We can create a rounded rectangle or a normal one and just put the search button beside it.
Good. That's fantastic. You should come and teach us this section. I love that. That's really fantastic. So let's go back. Let's go back. So where are my tools? Sometimes Figma just try to be silly sometimes. So let me go back here. Let's see if it's going to pop up the tools. I want to create a rounded corner, rounded element. I think I need to refresh this. The tools is not popping up. Maybe my network. So I'm going to refresh this, and I'll show you how to have that kind of search bar done as well too. So I'm going to load that up, and the next thing we're going to do next is we're going to structure, align all our elements, our text. You know, we are putting this in the menu bar, right? So we are going to align everything, and you see how that is done as well too. And there's something called components in Figma. Components are very useful. Say for instance, now I'm going to have different website pages, but I want to be able to I don't want to always have to create that website, that button, or say I don't want to create buttons, or let's say I have a form, so I can create a component for that I can always reuse. So I'll just go there and insert the component into whatever frame or whatever frame that I'm working on. So, but you might not necessarily need that at this point, because that's already going very deep and detailed, and it might be a bit confusing. So we would not do that. That's really funny. Let me bring this one out. So let's bring it home. Then another thing you will notice is that as we are adding things here, you'll be seeing them. So you see the text wish list, you see the collections, and you can arrange your things. So you will notice that in this desktop now, this is everything we have in desktop. This is everything we have in desktop here, right? And this is also everything we have in the iPhone. So if at all you missed anything, or let's say for instance I want to duplicate this home, even if I don't want to come to the desktop page to duplicate it, I can do that right from here, right? I can copy it, I can paste it, I can bring to front, I can do anything I want to do from this side panel. So it is, something that can help you keep your structure and keep you organized. So I'm not sure where my tools went to, and that's really funny. I noticed that after I imputed this, but let's see. Could be the problem. I'm not sure what's happening, but I'm not on a larger screen, so it's a bit hard for me to understand why my tools are missing. Let's see here. There is okay. Figma has actually changed a lot. So there is something coming up here, like it's not ready for dev. So I've mistakenly clicked on ready for dev. So that's why I'm unable to access whatever I'm doing. So what we will do is let's create a new page. So before now, each product we keep iterating and making it better. So let me create a new page and be very mindful of that next. Just for dev would show the different it would help the dev actually in terms of layering it, if it has any components or anything like that. Where is this tool? Where is it? Where is he hiding? Okay. I might need to create a new frame. I don't want to delay with troubleshooting this. So let's create a new one real quick. It's loading. While that is loading, let's just create a new one real quick. Should be able to actually toggle it off here. Yeah. I'm just trying to troubleshoot this while that is loading. I should be able to toggle this off, but I'm not seeing the option. So let me see. Okay. So quickly, we're going to move very fast, and I'm just going to repeat the same process that I did earlier. Desktop. Layout grid. So let me put the search bar. Let's do that real quick here. I'm going to make this, because we are adding we'll be adding an icon inside that bar. I would just reduce the transparency, but before that, let me add the stroke here. So I'm going to increase the width so you can see the stroke. I'm going to make it, let's say 3, 2. Let's do 2. Let's do 2. And do you know that in anything related to calculation in Figma, you can add and subtract? So if I want to add, I can just do +1. It's going to increase the width to 3 automatically. But it's just very straightforward to just type in what you want to type in anyway. So that is for the frame, the button. The next thing is let's do the corner radius. This corner radius is just to, you can see the changes, right? Oh my god, can you all see this? Yep. This is the changes. You go to the corner radius and you see that. Yeah, so the next thing we're going to do is we would make this as transparent. Right, we can even use white. So that is what I've done here. Did anyone follow that step? Did you get that? I just want to be sure you got that. I hope we got that step right. So then you come to let me create a rectangle so you can see what I'm doing here. The rectangle, and let's do this is white. So we get our plugin. I search. Got our search bar here, and I'm going to bring this button we just worked on right now. I'm going to bring it here just for you to see what it's going to look like, and you can bring it to the front. So this is what the search icon would look like. I hope I've not lost anyone at all. Are we following?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, still with them.
All right. So real quick, let's go back again and do the menu page rather. Bar here. So I'm going to reduce the transparency for this frame so it's not distracting. Okay. Let's say I want to make, because the background is white, we can make this gray. Okay. Not too dark anyway. You can make this gray and remove this closer. Got it. And we're talking about home earlier. Home, wish list. If you want to duplicate and you don't want to, just want to duplicate, you can use your controls on your laptop. So if you're on Mac, you can use Command D. I believe on Windows it would also be probably Shift and Command and Shift and D. That's for duplication.
I think Control D.
So let's put wish list. What I want you to see here is aligning the different texts, because that's going to be very important again. Let's do collections. Let's do, what else can we add to for an e-commerce website? Maybe maybe about us. It's not a professional website, but let's just have those menu there, right? So next thing I want to do is to
Contact us also.
that's very helpful to me. Let's do contact us too. One interesting thing about these tools is that you can see your sizes, like sizing rather. So if let's say I drag this one now, and that's going to keep you aligned. If I drag this one, I drag it here, you can see that when I drag it, it's showing me now that the size between this home and the wish list is 24. If I want to keep that same size to make sure that my text are aligned, I just need to do that same sizing. There's another tool that you can use to confirm that, but I'm a bit rusty now. That's what I just use more of this, right? So I'm going to come here, group these things together. Why am I grouping it together? I want to just make sure that it is looking good on that structure. So you would see the position is mixed, it is on the y-axis, that's just all you want to know. So if I want to do any changes, if I do any changes right now, if I bring it from regular to medium, it's going to affect everything. if I also increase the size, it's going to affect everything as well too. Right, it's going to affect everything. So let's keep it like this. And don't forget we have the search. So the funny thing is that you have to consider for any icon, any elements you want to add, you have to consider your text. Does it make sense at all? Then you can also drag this if you wish. If you want to add more space to it, you can drag it as well. So let's bring this one up here. And I didn't group it. Let's go back. Just doing Ctrl Z to bring this back to where it was before. So I like everything right now. Then Command G or Ctrl G would allow me group it. I've grouped this now. Then I'm going to bring it here. I want to take it to the top. Right. So based on what you think, you can if you want to still increase the sizing, you can do that. If you want to make this just to be in the middle, you just want to have it in the middle, just central align it. Different websites have different structures for their website. So if you want to have here, that's also good. So let me increase this a bit. Let's change the color so that it is more legible. We can just make it a bit deeper. Then make this. So if you notice something now, I can't click on the text because this current rectangle is covering my text. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to move this to the back. So send to back here. And once that is done, I should be able to, you can see that I'm able to access my text right now. So I'm going to change it to white so that it is more legible. And I would just make this a bit darker so that it's just very legible. So make this dark. Okay, so then that brings us to this one we're working on, the search bar. You can see now that I've changed this to white. This has to be white as well too, so that it is consistent across board. So you come here to change the color. You can see the fill. I can change it to white, but let me change it to another color so that we can see it since the background is white. And even before you add your icons or whatever, you can, okay, it was a stroke rather, not the fill. The stroke has already been changed, so let's change this to red. Let's leave it here just for you to be able to see it. If I change it to white, you might struggle to see. And I want to keep it like that. I can leave this icon like this. If I want to change it, we can reduce it like this by clicking on this. And if you want to change anything here, you can come here as well too. And these dimensions, you can see here right now it is 13 by 15. You can see 13 by 15 here. So if I want to make it consistent, I can say 12 by 12. Then this is 12. This is just saying this is the width, this is the size, this is the width, this is the height for the dimensions. So this is consistent right now, but it's still not going to look good if we add it to that menu bar just like that. So I'm going to reduce this a bit more so it makes sense. and I'm going to add this here. And if we move it there and it's still not looking good, we can adjust. Okay, we can adjust that. So I'm going to group this. I'm going to group this, and I'm going to move it up there. So the next thing is just the frame of the website, what we want to add there. So I'm going to bring it here. It's still not very legible, so probably I make that one white. So you can see that I didn't just drop the elements there. I'm making sure it is aligned with the text, right? So you have to check for that. You are not a designer, but I really like doing clean things, right? So you just to make sure that it is very clean, right? So you're doing a wireframe, you necessarily don't need to, but I just like when we have clean designs and people are able to even understand without the depths or anyone picking it up. So what I'm doing right now, we've done for the menu bar. If the company or the website has a logo, we can add the logo somewhere around here. So the next step is you can actually choose to the sizing of this frame. You can drag it down so to give you a full look, right? So let's go back to that mood board, and we're going to just randomly pick things. This is just for you to be able to create your own wireframe as well too, right? So okay, who noticed that my search bar shifted? Okay, we are just going to adjust this and bring it back in. I don't think, why is this? Yeah, so we're just going to bring this back in here. Let's leave that for now. Don't want us to spend too much time on that. All right.
Sorry,
so
is it possible we group the search bar icon and the rectangle it is in?
Earlier, you can do that. Let me bring it out. Actually, you can also lock. So for instance, if you have your elements moving and you don't want it to distract you, so you can just come to this rectangle. This is the rectangle I'm currently clicking on right now, right? So I click on the rectangle and you see this eye icon, right? No, sorry, rather the padlock icon. You click on it, it won't allow that to move, and you can do your grouping or whatever you want to do. So let's group it again. Let's do that. I'm just very mindful of time. Well, let's do that. It has actually been grouped. Let me click and confirm it has been grouped. Oh, it has not been grouped, is it? So if it has been, okay, you can see on group, it has been grouped. That's why I can't actually click on that. So if I ungroup it and just first for us to be able to readjust this, then back to the icon. I can also reduce this just for it to fit in like this, and bring it right back out. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to select all of this again. That's my lap. Yeah. So select all of this, then click on group or command or Control G. It has been grouped, so we have it there like that. We can also still adjust the search bar, but I wouldn't dwell so much on that right now. So let's get our frame, let's get our structure out. So for images in wireframes, you can choose to use, this is like the standard that you can use. So you have your rectangle here. This is just to signify that this is an image. You have your rectangle in any color you want to. Then you come here to these shape tools. Then you have your line. Bring the line here. Right? We are just doing a cross or like X. This is just to indicate that something is here, an image is here, right? So you can choose to increase the line width. What's going on? Let's go. Yeah, this is it. I think it's changed the color to white, so that's why we can't see it. So we're going to change the color back to black. And I'm going to increase the line width to say 3. Right? Then we're going to do the same for the next X, like the next one. Anytime anyone is seeing this is just telling them that something is here, an image is here, right? And we go from there. So I'm going to do the same thing. I can actually duplicate the same line, then just flip it. But I'm just showing this, just for anyone that missed that step. Right. So this is going to indicate that, okay, there is an image here. So I'm going to group all of this together. Command J. It's been grouped. I can move it in different direction that I want to. I can choose to reduce the size, increase the size, whatever I want to do with it. Right. So it has been grouped. So this is what I'm saying. Right. So let's go back to that mood board and let's just pick something. We'll be moving very fast right now. I still want to show you that AI tool and how to prototype. So the real difference in like Figma right now, when you create your designs and your design is leading you to another screen, you have to be able to create an interaction for that. Right. So I'm going to, when we get to that part, I'm going to show you an example, but we might not be able to go in depth in that because of time. So let's go back to that mood board real quick. What can we pick in the mood board? Let's see this lady's image. So we have something here that shows an image is here. Then we'll have carry elegance. Then we'll have three different rectangles, right? So let's do that. This is just a sample. Ideally, if you want to create your wireframes or your prototype, whatever you want to do, you are not to copy whatever you see. Mood board is just for you to get inspiration. It's just like you want to build a house now, or maybe we ladies, that sometimes we go to Pinterest, or we want to have like this classic look, this casual look, that kind of thing, just for you to be able to get inspiration. So it's not something that you copy, it's just for you to be able to get inspiration. So we have the image of the lady here. I might need to, let me take it back. White is not showing is because it is white. So we would fill this with, say, gray. Right. Let's make you look a bit. Right. So we filled up let's add the image of the lady. This is representing the image of the lady. And don't forget, this layout grid is showing me my boundaries in this design, right? Showing me my boundaries in this design. So we saw a text that says carry elegance, right? So let's add it here. Carry elegance. And the way that text was is it's very bold. So I'm going to increase this size to say 64. I can decide to change it to bold, extra bold, but it has to look good too. Because it's a wireframe does not mean that it has to be, shabby. So let's have carry elegance here. Right. I might need to reduce this. I think that's fine. Let's have carry elegance here. I'm not a fan of this font. I'm not a fan. Where's Montserrat? Then if you have any preferred font, you can just type it in there and it's going to bring it up. Oh, okay, so Mont. Then I can just put a text here, so this thing is not looking all blank. Hello, welcome to BA's Fair Store. What I'm doing here is like a mid-fidelity, high-fidelity prototype, right? So you can just keep to the basics. If you don't have the strength for all of this, you can just do the basics. But with this, I've been able to, have better alignment with my stakeholders without having to even include the designer before it is sent to them. We are able to get clear on what needs to be done, and it just limits rework, right? So, but if you don't really have the strength for this, you can just keep it to the text alone, the images, and whatever you want to add to it, right? I wanted to say store here, so let's just put this here. Again, you notice that we have different text size. Why this text size is like this is just to increase the, to make it look really good. Another thing we add over there, we saw that there were like images as well. So what I can do is, instead of coming to add the images again, I have one here. I'll just duplicate it, then reduce the size. This would save me time, right? This will save me time. It's also still indicating the same thing. Yes, we have an image here. I would make this a bit bold. Let's see. Right. So we have something, similar to this frame here. Something similar. We have the image of the lady, we have carry elegance. You can edit your text to make it look like this as well too. So if there's any other thing I want to do, it's an e-commerce store, we want to add images of the products, right? We can come down to another section. You can do that for another section, and I can decide to, instead of making everything white, I can decide to add a new color for my new section. What this just indicates is that the way this color is not the same thing with what the other color is going to look like. So this just to let everybody know that it's not going to be the same color, but it's optional. It's just left to you. It depends on how you want to structure it, but make sure that your wireframe, anybody that picks it up can understand. So you can also add notes. So if you want to hand over to like maybe your product owner, he or she wants to go through it before sending it over or approving it, you can add notes to talk more about what is happening in whatever section, right? So we would just go ahead, add products. So we are assuming that this is the product section, right? So I'm just going to add a text. Let's put this here. This text to say bags, right? I'm going to copy this here and put it here. I want to show us the prototyping, how that works too. So that's why I'm moving really fast. And if you have any questions again, please, you can drop them in the comments. Once I'm done, I would take it from there. So let's say bags. Bags. So we have different bags. Again, this rectangle here is to the front, so I need to take it back so that the other elements can show. And you can just duplicate all of this. We've not built the website yet, but anyone that wants to pick this up can say, okay, why do you have collections instead of collections? Is that part of the requirements? Did we say we're going to have collections? Oh, we didn't say we're going to have collections. I thought we were going to have wish lists. You know, that just gives everyone a full understanding. And Figma is very great to collaborate. I mentioned the comment section. So if I was the product owner, or maybe I'm your very senior high-level stakeholder, I'm just going to come here, put the comments. Hi, Temi, why do we have carry elegance? Or why is it structured this way, right? So that is the importance of prototype. What I'm going to do next is just show you some of the things that I've done, and I'll show the next tool, the AI tool for prototyping, then how you can actually prototype as well too. So I'm going to open this one. I think I had a design where I was able to prototype. Let's see. The prototype is just the interactions. What will happen when you click on this? What will happen when you click on that, right? So let me just show you real quick I will duplicate that page. Maybe that will be helpful so we don't waste time. Let's duplicate this page real quick, and let me show you how you can add interaction to your designs or your wireframes rather. Oh my god, what's this? Let's delete this one. Let's reduplicate that. All right. So if I want to add an interaction here, prototyping is just, the flow in Figma. It's just the flow. So if I say, Mr. Lagbaja has created the wireframes, but I can't see the prototype. Okay, when we click on the about us, where does it lead to? Will you just send them a like screenshots or doing a video? So I'm going to show you how. you can see that currently we are on the design tab. If we go to the prototype tab, you'll start seeing it is going to ask us to select a device. No. So let me click on this frame again for the prototype. It's frame. Then we create a connection. So I've selected the frame. If I want to, my About Us page, my About Us text, if I want it to lead to another page, I'm going to come to this About Us here. I'm going to click on this text. You will notice a circle. A circle when we are on prototype, you will notice a circle for each text. This circle is to indicate you to, drag it to lead to where you want it to go to. So don't forget, we are dragging this About Us page to this new duplicated one. Let's go back. So I'm dragging it here. It's already connected to the second desktop frame, right? So if there's anything at all, maybe the images, when they open up the images, what happens? Would they just see just the images alone? What are the steps? The checkout. Is it the checkout? Is it for them to see categories? So it's not just about designing it. You have to also be able to map out the layout, right? So you would notice different interactions there. It says on click, so you can choose the one you want. So this on click means that if somebody clicks on this About Us page, it leads them here. If I want to say, oh, I don't want on click, while hovering, you will notice that while we were doing the different types of text sizing, while we were hovering on it, it was changing, right? So while hovering is just like, as I'm going through this thing like this, if I go through this About Us page, right, I want it to lead me straight to this new desktop too, right? So you can also choose, oh, is it after delay? But this is like deep prototyping for like UX, a deep UX design thing. So that's for the interaction. So let us see that in action now. We've done the prototype now. The interaction. Prototyping in Figma is just you adding interactions to the wireframes or any designs you've done, right? So if I want to see this in action, I will say prototype view, and I will go ahead and preview this. If I click on this one, it's going to take me to a new page. You will notice in this URL, it is saying Figma/proto. It's just like, okay, it has been prototyped already, right? So we will test that. What I just did now, we'll test it out here. So if you have different screens that you need to connect to each other, all you just need to do is to click on that prototype, and that was what I was saying, that I was going to answer that question after when we get there, because I need to show you what it looks like in Figma here. So while this is loading, we will click on the About Us page, and you see that it leads us to the next page. And I can also show you some prototypes that I've done as well. This is not looking so good yet, because we are limited on time. So this is what we just did right now. You will notice that the layout page is missing. If you want to send your stakeholders this wireframe, it's best to send it to them as prototype so they can interact with it, and they can also go here to add comment. But let's click on this About Us page now. You won't be able to see the difference, but if you notice, let's go back here, because the pages are the same, there's no difference. But when I clicked on this About, you'll notice that there is a change. But let me go back and let's see the change. I'll delete some things so that you can see the real change here. So I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to delete this one as well. And I'm just going to refresh the page. Oh, you can see the difference now. So, but let me just refresh this page. So that will show you what the prototyping in Figma is just you adding interactions to your design. While that is loading, the next tool would delve into is Visibly. I'm not going to do anything there. You can create an account and play around with it. So I'm going to go back to the first one. I'm going to restart this prototype now. I'll show you now. To restart this. So this was the home page we saw, right? If I click on this About Us now, you can see that it's now different. So I just want to show you the difference between that, and this would be great to share. So if anyone wants to interact with your wireframes or your prototype, they can do such with using that prototyping tool, the interaction tool in Figma. And that would move me to the next tool. And I'm going to show you another prototype that I did. This is for a project. Let me see. Let me just play this and present. So you see the different elements, what lists where, and how it all works. But this is VCD. I've been using VCD a lot these days. I find it, very, very, very easy to use. Figma is great, like very, very great. But this is lightweight. It is, easy. And the same thing that we learned in Figma, it has almost the same type of interface, right? You can see the wireframe, the diagram. You can even use it to create use cases and things like that. So you can see button. Instead of you even creating your button from scratch, if you like, you can just add the button and put it here. So, and on the layout panel, it is like almost the same thing. It's the same interface, almost the same interface. There are two different tools, but almost the same interface. You can see the positioning, the sizing, arrangement, and all of that. But this is also limited with some things. I just want to show you the prototype real quick. So if I want to send I've done this great design now, this great wireframe for this project right now, but I can't really send that to my stakeholder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send the prototype version to them so that they can interact with it. And you can see design here, you can see prototype here. This inspect tool is just like the dev tool we saw on Figma for the developer to be able to inspect how the site is going to be. So you can see that I've linked some things together. So this just tell me what list to work, because it's been a few weeks that I've worked on this. So this is the landing page. When I click on probably schedule a consultation, when I click on featured collection, it leads me to, okay, this is not a prototype. Let's click on this. Was this linked? Oh, yeah. So when I clicked on that, it brought me here. If I click on add to cart, it took me to this another flow, right? That's just really what it is. So that's really what that interaction and prototype is in Figma. That's how it's going to look like. You can see different things. You can go back. Just make sure that what you're doing is structured. For this project now, we've not gotten a dev to work on it, but I've been working closely with the product owner and the sponsor. Oh, change this. This doesn't look good. I want you to restructure it. Doing that, we will be able to like cut down time. So all I just need to do is to send the file or the link to the designer once it is ready. Designer, this is what we need to get done. Or yours is to make it look pretty. And the dev will say, okay, I'm done with it. I'm done with making it look pretty. it's time for the developer to implement that. So that's about Visily, that's about Figma. Let's see if there is any other thing on the slide that I've not covered yet. So we've talked about commenting, prototyping, styles, components. Components is just you being able to, let's say the button we created now, if you want to make it a component, you don't need to like create the same thing again. Just, you can use it for duplication. And developers, they find it very useful. They also even like to use components because it is very usable and it saves them time. So we've talked about the prototyping flow. Then there are different things, the on drag, on click, smart animate. It's just, I would like you to go back and play with Figma, and you can share whatever things you've done with the BA Sphere community. You can put it up on LinkedIn, tag the BA Sphere. I would really love to see what you all come up with Figma. So we talked about the grids, the layout grid, the web and the mobile layout standard, the standard for the layout grids, their importance, and why spacing is also important for the devs. We've covered all of this. I just want to be sure that there is nothing we're missing. Again, it's very great for you to be able to do this in Figma. You can get feedback on time. With Figma, you can get feedback with the comments too. You can see how the feature or the product, how it's going to look like. You can interact, you do your interaction, your prototyping in Figma, and it just makes sure that you are communicating, you are aligning the right people, and you can get feedback on time. So what can we do going forward? Let's stay updated with new tools and technologies. I recently discovered Visily. I know Figma, I've been using Figma, but I've been using Visily even more now. So, and let's just continue to improve on our processes and the user experience. And I believe that's the end. So I've come to the end of the class. If you all have any questions, please let me know.
All right, thank you very much, Temitope, for that very insightful session. I'm sure there's a lot of things to chew, and if there are any questions, we're happy to take them just now. Yes, go ahead, Mary.
Thank you so much, Temitope, for that session. I just want to know, so you were talking about Visily, you were talking about Figma, prototype, and wireframe. So what's the difference between this whole thing? Is it that Figma is like the board that carries all of them, both the, what's it called? You talked about Visily, right? And because somehow I got confused at some point. You were like, you've been using Figma, but you discovered Visily, and I saw that you were actually trying to click on Visily on that same board, or that same, the screen. And I don't know what else to call it now. So I hope you understand what I mean. So I really don't understand which is which at this point, So what's the difference between this whole thing? Figma, prototype, Visily, and wireframe. What connects all of them?
Okay. Thank you, Mary, for that. I understand. So for creating your wireframe or your prototype, there are different tools. We talked about Balsamic, we talked about Visily, we talked about Figma, but we delved more on Figma because that's the core focus for this call. So they are just tools. So think about, if you want to create your documents, there's Google Docs, there is Confluence, there is Microsoft Word, right? So there are different tools with different pros and cons, right? Also, you mentioned you were lost in trying to understand different things, there are actually different tools. Just think about it like that. There are different tools. In Figma, they call creating the interaction, they call it your prototyping it, right? You would say, oh, I want to see the prototype, right? So that's why we've been throwing around prototype, we've been throwing around wireframes, we've been throwing around different words together. But what you just need to understand is, if you want to align your stakeholders can be maybe your developers, your product owners, your product sponsor. You've created your requirements, but you want them to see that visual representation. How do you get that done? Aside from like using diagrams, right? You can use this tool you can use the wireframe system to be able to do that. And how do you get that done? You utilize tools like Balsamic, tools like Figma, tools like Visily. So I hope that answered your question.
Well, okay, so they're all tools for prototyping. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Wireframe?
Yes. Wireframe is not a tool.
Okay, so what's wireframe?
Wireframe is just like saying you want to create a use case diagram, or you want to create a process flow, right?
Yeah.
Think of wireframe like that.
Okay. So
wireframe,
yeah.
It's just like, it's not a tool. What you create the wireframe is Figma. You can use Figma, you can use Balsamic.
Okay then. Thank you. It's clear now.
All right. Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
Sorry, please, I have a question. Please, what do you mean by clickable prototype? I always heard of that.
Okay, earlier demonstrated different things, like different projects. So when you're saying you want, just basically think about it, just you want to be able to interacting with your wireframe. What we created earlier is just one static design. The design cannot, if you click on it, nothing is going to happen. Let me go back and just share so you understand that again. So this is our design. I'm using this one now because it's more fleshed. This is our design. If I share this with anybody, they can just see it and say, oh, it looks good. Okay, you can add the text and remove the text. If I want to prototype this, make it interactive, I would go ahead. It's just making it interactive to show the flow and the journey, right? So, when we do process flow, maybe you're onboarding, sign up, login, those things, that would allow you to be able to show the flow, right? So I have the design now. This is the design of the wireframe that I've done, but nobody can interact with it. So clickable prototype is, when I come here, let's go back to the landing page. I click on one of these elements that have been prototype. So I click here. It takes me to see more. This would allow anybody to be able to have a better understanding of your wireframe, right? So this project is for let's say an e-commerce project, right? This is an e-commerce project. I come here, they come to the landing page. If a user gets to the landing page and they click on one of the products, they get to see the different kind of products in this page, right? And when they get to see different type of product, if they want to maybe buy it, they can click on this customize. And that was why I was showing you, this has not been prototyped anyway. So they can click on the page that element that I just showed, they can just click on anywhere and it moves them to the next stage, right? So connecting those pieces together, we've been able to connect those pieces, those elements together. We are creating an interaction. We are creating a prototype for that. This is prototyping in a simple term is just, okay, let's see how the flow would look like. We want to see, it's not just about us doing the design alone now, right? If I get to the wireframes you've created, this is not the actual design, is it? It's not. I want to be able to interact with it. I want to be able to see so that I can give feedback, right? So that I can give feedback. And if I come here and still click on add to cart, it takes me to another section. That is, you are clicking on it, you can see how the flow looks like. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, definitely. Just like being to be able to interact with the
flow.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I think the wireframe prototype we are trying, the word is a bit confusing. No worries, but just think about prototype like we want to see the flow. Different tools, you know, we can call it interactions. There are some people that are interaction designers. They don't do design. They just do the interaction, how the flow is going to look like. So I hope that answered that question. Prototyping, Figma, wireframes and all of that.
Thank you for watching this video. Please remember to like and subscribe and stay tuned for upcoming webinars.